Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham. Jaya Radha Kalachanji, Radha Kalachanji Radhe. Jaya Radha Kalachanji, Radha Kalachanji Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's chant this together. Narayanam namaskrityam naram shaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you so much for joining. You all join every single day, so I need to take blessings from you so that I can be true to what instructions we are getting from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are actually covering Canto 7, Chapter 15. Today, verse 69 through 74. It's nice how Narad Muni, we're hearing Narad Muni's instructions through his past life and through his personal example. So let's read from 69 translation.
Long, long ago, in another Mahakalpa millennium of Brahma, I existed as the Gandharva known as Upabarhana. I was very respected by the other Gandharvas.
So who is talking right now? Narad Muni, right? And what was his name in once upon a time in another millennium? What was his name? Upabarhana. Upabarhana. And he had a very beautiful body. He was one of the Gandharvas, one of the beautiful looking demigods in Gandharva Lok. And we'll hear how Narad Muni will describe that he had a fall down in that when he was in Gandharva Lok. We'll discuss about this in detail, but okay, let's move on to next verse, 70.
I had a beautiful face and a pleasing, attractive bodily structure. Decorated with flower garlands and sandalwood pulp, I was most pleasing to the women of my city. Thus I was bewildered always, feeling lusty desires.
So in the purports, Prabhupada has written that Narad Muni was one of the playboys because he used to attract all the women with his beauty. Let's read next verse.
Once there was a Sankirtan festival to glorify the Supreme Lord in an assembly of the demigods, and the Gandharvas and the Asparas were invited by the Prajapatis to take part in it.
So the Sankirtan festival, meaning the Harinam Sankirtan. So it's not something that, only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced 500 years ago in Kali, but this has been something which keeps going on. And whenever the fallen souls forget about Harinam, Mahaprabhu or his servants, they come again and remind us of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So even in different millenniums, it's been going on. Every millennium of Lord Brahma, the Hare Krishna mantra is chanted. The movement is going on. And not just here in Bhumi Lok, but also in different loks, higher planets.
Text 72. Narad Muni continued, being invited to that festival, I also joined, and, surrounded by women, I began musically singing the glories of the demigods. Because of this, the Prajapatis, the great demigods in charge of the affairs of the universe, forcefully cursed me with these words. Because you have committed an offense, you may immediately become a Shudra, devoid of beauty.
So what did Narad Muni do? What was the biggest offense he committed? He was invited to the festival of Harinam, and he started glorifying and singing the names of the demigods. Now we can respect the demigods, we have to, we must. But we can never equate, we can never think that the name or the personality himself, the demigod, is equal to the name of Krishna. We can never think like that because this is the biggest offense. One of the offenses we read before chanting early morning, we hear, right? That considering the name of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva to be equal or independent from Lord Vishnu. It's a big offense. And that is what Narad Muni committed here. He started glorifying. We will read the purport for this also, but we'll come back to it because today's verse that we have to focus is 74, but the essence that we have to cover is of that considering the names of demigods equivalent to Krishna. So this verse will describe perfectly. So we'll come back to 72 later. We can read 73rd now, please.
Although I took birth as Sudra from the womb of maid servant, I engaged in the service of Vaishnavas who were well versed in Vedic knowledge. Consequently, in this life I got the opportunity to take birth as a son of Lord Brahma.
So the Prajapatis, the demigods themselves, cursed Narad Muni because he was glorifying the names of demigods in a Sankirtan movement. And what was the curse? That he would be born as a Shudra. But this turned out to be more fortunate than him being in Gandharvalok. Why? Why was the birth of Shudra more fortunate than being in Gandharvalok itself? Yes, exactly. Even if he was born to a mother who was a Shudra, he himself was a Shudra, but he got to serve the devotees. He got to serve Vaishnavas. So that is considered a higher birth, even if you're a, Mlecha, dog eater, Shudra, anybody. But you get to serve the devotees is considered so much higher than somebody who is there in the higher planetary system. 74.
The process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that by this chanting, even householders, grihastas, can very easily gain the ultimate result achieved by persons in the renounced order. Maharaj Yudhishthir, I have now explained to you that process of religion.
Now think about it, how the story is going on. Now it comes to Yudhishthir Maharaj. In the purport, it is explained, which we'll read, that Yudhishthir Maharaj was worried what will happen to his spiritual life because he is a grihastha. Now we were talking about Shudra, that was one level, but still Narad Muni was fortunate because he got the association of devotees. Now we are coming to grihasthas. That even the power, the holy name is so powerful that even if grihasthas are chanting, they can attain the perfection of life as equal to somebody who is in renounced order of life. Somebody who is a sannyasi gets the same benefit by following Hare Krishna movement. Even a grihastha in a grihastha ashram can attain that benefit, the ultimate goal. So let's chant text 74. Please repeat after me. Dharmaste grihame dhiyo varnitaha papanashanaha grihastho yena padavim anjasa nyasinamiyat dharmaste grihame dhiyo varnitaha papanashanaha grihastho yena padavim anjasa nyasinamiyat. Please recite. Dharmaste grihame dhiyo varnita papanashanaha grihastho yena padavim anjasa nyasinamiyat. Dharmaste grihame dhiyo varnita papanashanaha grihastho yena padavim anjasa nyasinamiyat. Dharmaste grihame dhiyo varnita papanashanaha grihastho yena padavim anjasa nyasinamiyat. Thank you so much. Word to word translation. Let's chant this together. Dharmaha, that religious process. Te, to you. Griha mediyaha, although attached to household life. Varnitaha, explained by me. Papanashanaha, the destruction of sinful reactions. Grihastaha, a person in household life. Yena, by which. Padavim, the position. Anjasa, very easily. Nyasinam, of those in the renounced order of life. Iyat, can obtain. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that by this chanting, even householders, grihasthas, can very easily gain the ultimate result achieved by persons in the renounced order. Maharaj Yudhishthir, I have now explained to you that process of religion. This is a confirmation of the Krishna consciousness movement. Anyone who takes part in this movement, regardless of what he is, can gain the topmost result achieved by a perfect sannyasi, namely Brahmagyan, spiritual knowledge. Even more important, he can advance in devotional service. Maharaj Yudhishthir thought that because he was a grihastha, there was no hope of his being liberated. And therefore he asked Narad Muni how he could get out of material entanglement. But Narad Muni, citing a practical example from his own life, established that by associating with devotees and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, any man in any condition of life can achieve the highest perfection without a doubt. We'll also read the purport of 72, text 72. Translation. Thank you. Translation. Narad Muni continued, being invited to that festival, I also joined, and surrounded by women, I began musically singing the glories of the demigods. Because of this, the Prajapatis, the great demigods in charge of the affairs of the universe, forcefully cursed me with these words. Because you have committed an offense, may you immediately become a Shudra, devoid of beauty. Purport. As far as Kirtan is concerned, the Shastras say, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. One should chant the glories of the Supreme Lord and the holy name of the Lord. This is clearly stated. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. One should chant about and glorify Lord Vishnu, not any demigod. Unfortunately, there are foolish persons who invent some process of Kirtan on the basis of a demigod's name. This is an offense. Kirtan means glorifying the Supreme Lord, not any demigod. Sometimes people invent Kali Kirtan, Shiva Kirtan, and even big sannyasis in the Mayavad school say that one may chant any name and still get the same result. But here we find that millions and millions of years ago, when Narad Muni was a Gandharva, he neglected the order to glorify the Lord, and being mad in the association of women, he began to chant otherwise. Thus he was cursed to become a Shudra. His first offense was that he went to join the Sankirtan party in the company of lusty women. And another offense was that he considered ordinary songs like cinema songs and other such songs to be equal to Sankirtan. For this offense, he was punished with becoming a Shudra. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Right. This is such a wonderful example that Narad Muni is teaching by his own life. That millions of years ago, he could remember that something happened millions of years ago. We probably won't be able to remember what happened a few days ago, but this is a quality that, like Lord Krishna, can remember anything that happened millions of years ago. And like him, his pure devotee, Krishna grants this, some of these qualities. And because Narad Muni is such a pure, exalted devotee, he was able to remember his past lives. And when he was in Gandharvalok as one of the demigods, Upabarhana, we see how he had very lusty desires because he was very beautiful and he used that beauty to attract other women. So he was one of the playboys, as Srila Prabhupada mentions. And this is a Shudra mentality, basically. That is why he was cursed to become a Shudra. One of the reasons was this, to attract lusty women, and also that he committed the biggest offense of glorifying demigods and in the assembly of Hare Krishna movement. And any Sankirtan, as Prabhupada said, Sankirtan means to glorify the Supreme Lord. So he was rightfully cursed to become a Shudra. And when we see now, in the age of Kali, most people, almost everybody is a Shudra because the mentality is Shudra. Because nobody is spiritually trained. Everybody is using whatever they have to just attract the opposite sex. And you will see this is a very prominent desire even in youngsters. Like you will see young kids when they start going to school, this intention to attract the opposite sex, this desire starts at a very young age. And this goes on till the very old age, probably till you're in your deathbed, that you want to attract the opposite sex, you want to mingle with them. And one of the disadvantages which is there in the higher planetary systems is that everybody has everything, almost everything. They have wealth, they have beauty, and that is why the senses are so unrestricted, because everything is so unlimited. And there's unnecessary mingling with the opposite sex. And so fall down is very easily, is bound to happen. But Krishna says that when you become a devotee, you don't fall down. We hear this verse, right? Apichet suduracharo vajite mam ananyabhak. Even if somebody has done the most abominable action, Krishna says that devotee does not fall down. I know this proposes a lot of questions, but what Krishna is trying to, what we need to understand is that somebody who's practicing devotional service does not fall down. That's what Krishna says. Somebody who's engaged in practicing devotional service. And that's why we really need to train ourselves to not judge devotees, to not judge Vaishnavas, because what they are doing, they are engaged in devotional service, they are trying, everybody's trying, right? With all the faults that one has, taking with them all those things, still trying to practice devotional service, still trying to make Krishna the center of their lives. Just like a grihastha, a couple, right? No matter how many conflicts there might be, conflict of interest or disagreements, a devotee couple is always trying to put Krishna in the center. And this is the biggest difference between a grihastha and a grihamedhi. You know, grihamedhis are those who are just trying to enjoy married life, who are just trying to, who are so attached to their family and using all the money to fulfill just their own needs and not remembering the Lord at all. Those are grihamedhis. But that is why Yudhishthira Maharaj was afraid that how will I advance in spiritual life? But Yudhishthira Maharaj is a solid example of being a grihastha, because he kept Krishna in the center. And as grihasthas, that's such a, the reason we become grihasthas is if we continue to serve the devotees, if we continue to serve the Lord, we can advance even in that ashram. Ashram actually means a place where you reside. So this is a place where we are residing in the shelter of Krishna, the Brahmacharya ashram. That is also an ashram where you are residing in the shelter of Krishna. You're doing everything to please Krishna. Even a sannyasi is trying to please Krishna. So grihastas have even more opportunities to do that, because anything they earn, 10% of that they can use in the service of the Lord or in the service of devotees. They can educate their kids about Krishna, the Supreme Father. And so we see that Narad Muni in his past, in one of his lives, millennium years ago, when he was cursed, the reason he was cursed was that he was singing the names of the demigods, and he was cursed by the demigods themselves, which is so wonderful, because even demigods know that we are not, we are the servants of Krishna. We are not supposed to be glorified as the same platform where Vishnu is. And so even if he has that fall down, that also turned out to be a blessing. Why? First of all, he was cursed that he'll become a Shudra devoid of all the beauty. As Shudra is considered there not to be beautiful because, that's a curse apparently. And in Kali Yuga, we are all Shudras. So we can't even imagine what kind of beauty Upabharana had. The Upabharhan had. All the demigods, they're very beautiful, very attractive. But the one thing they forget is that who's the Supreme Lord? And that is the biggest curse anybody can get. Forgetfulness of Krishna is a curse. Not whether you're a Shudra, whether you are born in a very low class family or devoid of wealth, that's not a curse. Right? The curse is forgetfulness of Krishna. Because we see that Narad Muni was a Shudra, but he got the blessing of association of devotees. Who was that devotee who was considered she's not very pretty and who got to put Chandan in Mathura to Krishna? Upaja. She was devoid of beauty. Still, she got association of Krishna. Sudama was devoid of all the wealth. Still, he got blessings. He got the association of Krishna. The real curse is when we forget Krishna. And that we can apply in our day-to-day lives. That anything we are doing, we need to always remember the Lord, that I am doing this because Krishna gave this to me. I am able to do it because Krishna gave this job to me. I am able to earn because Krishna gave this to me. But now I have to do my part of engaging the gift I got from Krishna to use that gift in the service of the Lord. That's that should be our intention, our consciousness. I got kids as Krishna gave me that gift. As gifts, I got Krishna. I got a husband. I got a job. I got even the ability to speak is given by Krishna. So if we can use that in glorifying the Lord will be so pleased. And that will be the perfection of life that we can attain. And so Narad Muni, when he got the association of devotees, his only purpose of life became serving the Lord and serving the Vaishnavas. And then, when he did that, in next birth, he became the son of Brahma. That is not an achievement. That's not what we are trying to say. But we're trying to say is that this was the most fortunate thing that he could do. He could serve the devotees. And that's the best benediction we can receive, which we all have received. Association of devotees. We take it sometimes very lightly, but even meeting a devotee, this doesn't happen so easily. This happens once in many, many lifetimes. Finally, we came in this Krishna conscious movement and we are getting to meet and greet devotees. So we need to really very intelligently actually first pray to Krishna. Krishna, may I take this advantage of being in association of devotees in the right way. Not like, hey, come on, let's take a picture together. That's okay. But that association should not be limited to just that part that we're only interacting on the surface level. We need to take advantage of this wonderful souls that we are surrounded with. Talk deeply about Krishna, exchanging our hearts. We'll realize how deep these relationships can get, and Krishna will get so pleased because somewhere in the bottom of our hearts there is Krishna Prem, and only a devotee can give that to you. So when we associate with devotees, they can give you this gift. But we have to do some effort. Just like when we are where are the pearls in the ocean? It's not floating right on the top, right? You have to go deep down, you have to dive deeper into it, get the shells or the pearls, the gift that the ocean has. Similarly, when we have relationships with devotees, that Krishna prem, or that even prem for the devotees, we can achieve when we dive deeper in this relationship. So we cannot take this lightly, that we are living in a dham or we are meeting devotees every day. This is a big fortune. We actually realize it, when somebody goes on an office trip or somebody goes away from Dallas, we really realize like, oh my God, every time I go out of my house, I'm seeing a devotee, or I'm passing by Graham and I'm seeing so many tulsi plants, or I'm going somewhere. I was so excited from my backyard, I can see Kalachandji's tower, like the top. So even just small things like these, we really miss when we go away from Kalachandji Dham. But people are craving for this. People who don't know are craving for this. People who don't know what Krishna consciousness is, they're craving for this kind of mercy and love. But of course, they're looking at the wrong place right now. And so Narad Muni instructs Yudhishthira Maharaj that even if you're in a grihastashram, you can attain perfection of life when you are engaged in chanting the holy name and serving the devotees. So just stressing a little bit more on the point that sometimes people, listen to movie songs, cinema songs, as Prabhupada also mentions, that they create a spiritual song out of that melody, or they equate that, okay, doing kirtan of Lord Shiva is, it's same beneficial as doing the kirtan of Krishna. But that's an offense, because how can we equate all the demigods? There are so many demigods, right? And we think that, okay, one day we can chant, we can glorify any demigod, the other day we can come back to Krishna. No. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is mentioned that somebody who's less intelligent is the one who's worshipping the demigods. Why is it said that they are less intelligent? This is a question for all of you. This sounds for the first time I was hearing in a Bhagavad Gita class, and it made sense, but I suddenly laughed at it that people who worship demigods are considered less intelligent. It was really like Krishna is saying it outrightly. There is very less buddhi, less intelligent people are worshipping the demigods. So my question to you is that why do you think worshipping demigods is considered to be lesser intelligent? Yes, Janaki. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So why go to a small well of water when you can go to an ocean and just, get all the water you want? So why go to anybody else before I speak more? Why is it less intelligent?
That their boons are temporary, because their positions are temporary too. So
yes, exactly. Tulsi Saki Mataji wanted to say something.
We get their power from Vishnu, so we should worship Vishnu.
Yeah. So it's like, all of you are right. It's like you're going to you probably work in a company where they have said that you have easy access to the CEO of the company, and you can always go in and you can talk to that person. But no, you'll always go to just your manager and ask for the biggest things that you wanted, the desires you have as an employee, and you're just going to your manager and asking those things. But the manager only has limited power. And the CEO has opened all the doors. That why don't you just come to me and, you can ask me anything. But only a person who has less intelligence, which means, why are we saying less intelligence? Because you're not taking full benefit for yourself. Why would you not to take the best out of a situation? Why would you just go to somebody who can give you $100, but you'll go to somebody else who can only give you $20? It's stupid, right? And thanks to Krishna, he was a little kind. He didn't write you're stupid and you're fools, but he just said you're less intelligent. But that's what it means. Somebody who has limited power, and that power also, the source of that power is somebody else. It's Krishna. It's the Supreme Lord. And one more thing. There is one thing Krishna can give which no demigod can give. There's so many things that Krishna can give that demigods cannot give. Demigods can only give you material benefit. Am I right or am I wrong? They can grant you boons like to Hiranyakashipu, like he granted, oh, you will not die in day and night. He granted all of that, right? But was he able to even inculcate a desire in the heart of let's say, purifying that person? That purification only comes from Krishna. That's why Krishna consciousness is considered that it gives, I think it's in Hindi we say it does Shuddhikaran and I don't know if Buddhikaran is a word, but it means it purifies you and it gives you the right intelligence. That's what devotional service does to you. It automatically purifies you when you're engaged sincerely in the services of the Lord. We don't have to wait to first get perfect and then, now maybe I'm eligible to serve Krishna. The only eligibility you need is the desire to serve the Lord. And Krishna can give you the love and satisfaction that no other demigod can give. But if somebody is engaged, in the service of demigods, let's say we come across reading even in Bhagavatam about these great personalities, the only thing that we must ask from them is that, please bless me so that I can serve the Lord perfectly. I mean, just bless me so that I can serve the Supreme Lord. We can take blessings from them. Like somebody said, Saraswati gives education. We can ask her that, may I please give me education, like I'm able to study Srimad Bhagavatam so that my love for Krishna increases. My love for Srimad Bhagavatam increases. At the end, the destination is the supreme love for Supreme Lord. That's what we need to have, one track mind. If you have too many goals, we won't be able to reach anywhere. So having so many demigods, now people can say there are 3.3 million demigods. How many can you worship? How many will you go to? And they all lead to just one path. It's just like a sun has its rays, right? But can the rays come without the sun? No. So the sun is like the Supreme Lord and the rays are like demigods. That the source is Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is the source of all the powers of everything. And so if we say that Lord, Kalachandji, and maybe any other demigod, we sing the names of that demigod in front of Kalachandji and we're glorifying in a Hare Krishna movement, then it's an offense. Because Krishna is the Supreme Lord and nobody stands close anywhere near him. So that means we need to know the philosophy. A lot of times people will, this is very common in India because we're so exposed to all the demigods and knowing about them since our childhood. So we think they're all the same. But that's why this education is very important. And Srila Prabhupada has written so many books so that we can take shelter of this, of our Shastras and can get the real knowledge and not waste our life, another life. So if anybody has any comments on this, or any questions, please feel free to go. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda, Sevika, thank you for a very nice class on a very important topic.
Yeah.
And I'm I want to frame my question, so I'll just take a little. So
Mhm.
we understand that Lord Shiva also comes from, Brahma, and Narada Muni is also coming as son of Brahma. So we're saying go to Vishnu, don't go to demigods as Shiva or Brahma, because ultimate goal is Vishnu. However, we are in the sampradaya, and so the difference, because Narada is a pure devotee of Krishna, so the difference between he's not considered a demigod, or he may have material opulences, but that is not what we consider. So if we were to say what's different between Lord Shiva and Narada, both being very empowered sons of Brahma, it's that Narada's whole life, he has no material opulence that he's responsible for, and his whole, as a pure devotee, his whole meditation is how to bring everybody to Krishna.
Mhm.
Is it like for us to differentiate, like when as devotees we follow the structure, we go to Guru and his Guru. We don't say, okay, ignore everybody and go straight to Vishnu. Whereas with demigods, we're saying, no, don't go to Shiva, don't go to Durga, but go straight to Vishnu. So we are doing, the process is different
Mm.
when we are discussing Vaishnavas, who may be the sons of the same father, versus even if we are considering Shiva to be primary of Vaishnavas, but again, he's different from Narada because he's responsible and he has material empowerment. Like, just can you help unpack that?
If I get your question right, so maybe what you're asking is that we do say don't approach the Lord directly. We go through devotees, right? And then at the same time, we are saying don't approach demigods, right? Why is that the difference? We are not approaching demigods for our personal goals. Usually, people have this. The reason they do demigod worship is because of fulfilling their material desires. May I get promotion? May I get a better job? Every other day in India, there's a yagya in the house for sukh shanti, like peace, getting a putra, like a son, getting more money, getting a husband, right? All these sacrifices are done, all these worship is done for personal goals. But at the same time, a devotee can approach, definitely take blessings from Narad Muni, from Shiva, because Shiva is a great Vaishnava, right? And Narad Muni has so many wonderful Vaishnava disciples. So we definitely can approach them to seek their blessings, because we can get Krishna only through them. But here the desire is to get Krishna Bhakti, to get love for the Lord, not Krishna, you come and fulfill my desire. Here, I want to learn from these demigods how to, or these wonderful souls, can I please Krishna? But it's written in Bhagavad Gita also, right? The demigod mentality, worshippers of demigods are that Krishna is the Lord, or the demigods are my order carrier. Like they have to come and fulfill my desires, my personal goals. But as a devotee, approaching them is not wrong, but knowing in the head that this is not my only destination. I really need to learn to worship Krishna. So first of all, a devotee is clear of the goal, that I am a servant of the servant, but Jivara Sarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. After all, I am a servant of the Lord, of Lord Shri Krishna. And through these devotees, I can maybe serve the Lord. Even if I'm just serving Narad Muni, or let's say my Guru, right, or Srila Prabhupada, I'm just serving at that point. But they're all servants of Krishna, right? At least I know what is the disciplic succession. That's okay. But I'm not worshipping Srila Prabhupada so that he can fulfill my personal desires. That should not be the idea. Yes.
We've also seen that in case of Dhruva Maharaj, his intention was not accurate. He personal. But then because Narada Muni encouraged him, and his mom also, I think, encouraged him to go seek. And then Vishnu gave him the right. So in
Yes.
this scenario, you know,
That also I feel was the mercy of Narad Muni, right? He first got bhakta's mercy, devotee's mercy. And maybe he had the shukriti to get that mercy. The desire was not right in the beginning, and you'll see most people who come in. Do you think our desire was right in the beginning? No, everybody wanted Aishwarya. Everybody wanted money and happiness, let's say, okay? There are 4 things that approaches us to this, to seeking, to seek spirituality, is because somebody is seeking, okay, I want material benefit, I want to learn, I'm jigyasa, I want to learn knowledge. So his was that I want a bigger kingdom than even Lord Brahma, right? And then he met Narad Muni and he gave him the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he chanted for 6 months and Vishnu appeared. But during that, the whole cleansing happened, the whole purification happened. He realized that even the kingdom of Brahma was like broken piece of glass for me, because I don't want that. But yeah, your question, I think, is that there also he approached, the desire was not right, you're saying, and still he got the mercy of Narad Muni.
sorry, I'm it's coming to him. Like even for the prachetas, the prayers of Lord Shiva, like Shiva's in this case also. So it is not always just the desire for material, or it is not always the demigods who are not directing, but somehow there's a combination of some other things also, where even the Lord Shiva is able to encourage the prachetas, prayers of Lord Shiva, right?
Yes.
Over there, am I wrong on that one?
I think so.
Yeah, so somehow it is happening by the sincere.
I think one should say something. Oh, he's just saying closer to the mic. Okay. But I think, let's say if I'm worshipping you, right? I mean, I'm serving you, and but I'm serving you because I know you're a wonderful devotee. And one day I want to, I know that you have bhakti, that if I serve you, that even that can be the goal of my life. But I'm doing that because I know you're the devotee of the Lord. But if I approach just one demigod and I just want to serve them, thinking he is the Supreme Lord, that is an offense. Approaching demigods is not wrong. We respect them, we can worship them, but considering them equal to the Lord is an offense. That's the whole essence of today's words. I hope I was able to help. Yes, please. Yeah. Feel free to add anything to that question.
Hare Krishna. Such a wonderful class. I just had a comment, something that I was thinking about in like regards to this. I was thinking about how, like, if you come with material consciousness and you go to the demigods for that, then like the nature of materialism is that it's like karma and justice. Like if you go with that, then you'll get whatever you give or whatever mind you have. But even the demigods, still they're mostly devotees. Still they have some piety and they're up there, and they still, you know, they come to see Krishna's pastimes, Lord Chaitanya's showering flowers or whatever. So they still have this like even more spiritual consciousness maybe than we have.
Right.
So the opportunity to get mercy from them because they are devotees is still possible. It is still there. And it's just our consciousness. If we approach them like a bank clerk or teller or something, if we go to them and we just say like, this is what I want, you give me that, then okay, they'll probably just do their job and they'll give us whatever. But if we go and we are kind of looking for mercy, then also their compassion, their heart, because they're devotees, it's possible that they'll give us a little mercy too. So that was just something that I thought.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for adding that. Yeah, actually, if a lot of people who have worshipped Lord Shiva very nicely before, or Ganesha, if they've done it sincerely, they've come to Krishna consciousness. Because when you approach the demigods without any, we won't say there is zero desires, because that's not possible. We still have desires, but we are just, okay, we have some natural attraction for them, and we just worshipping them, then, you know, it's their duty that they bring us to Krishna. gradually. They bless us with Krishna Bhakti. And that's thank you for adding that, because that reminded me of this point. And but if you're only going just for a transactional relationship, then it can limit to that also. You give like $10 and you get in return something from the shopkeeper. Similarly, you go, you do some yagya, and the demigods will bless you with something material because they know you came for that. So at the end, we really need to know what our that this is part of self-realization, that we understand what is my desire, why am I approaching this person, this personality. Now also, if you're approaching Kalachandji, why am I doing that? Why am I coming to temple every day and having darshan? Is there some hidden desire that maybe I want everybody to listen to my class, or do I want everybody to only jump on my kirtan? Or is that the desire? No, because still I can, as a devotee, we can have very mixed devotion, or let's say mixed desires, still from our lingering on within us, right? But if you're only approaching the Lord, then Kalachandji, I just love coming here. I love seeing your form. I see how the pujaris dress you so nicely, and I just sincerely want to thank you for everything you've given to me, and may I always keep coming to you to have your darshan. Even if we always need to pray to Kalachandji. We need to come and talk to Kalachandji. So that even if that desire is not there, it will come. At some point, did we ever desire we would, in this life, coming here every day, having darshan of the Lord, we would have desired it, and that happened. So Bhagavatam tells us what to pray for, right? I think Gaurang Prabhu a few days ago gave this wonderful lecture, I think 2-3 weeks ago, where he said 3 things we should pray to Krishna. I think the first one was, Krishna, may I always be attracted to your form. May I always be attracted to you and your devotees. That was the prayer. That was the first and second, I think. I don't know if I remember the other points, but this was the most important, that always pray to Krishna, may I always be attracted to you, Kalachandji, and may I always be attracted to the devotees. So our goal of life is Krishna Prem, but also Prem for devotees. That's very important. That's the harder one among the two. Krishna Prem, we think, okay, but it's hard to inculcate Prem for devotees. Because we think, oh, it's same, right? Same person, maybe came 5 years after me in Krishna consciousness. Oh, this person is doing this, but doesn't do this service nicely, doesn't even do Achman nicely, etc., etc. Our minds can have so many thoughts. But we need to inculcate love for devotees also. So, yeah, any other point or any other question?
I like how you concluded that the devotees have mixed desires when they approach Krishna too, and then Krishna will reciprocate accordingly. Just like Narada Muni, he, like the discussion was kind of culminating at, was that he approached, I think he was doing it, he was kind of mocking the Sankirtan Yagya, and he did it, I think in the purports there, I think it says that he was, proud and just, he wasn't approaching even the demigods for blessings, but he did it to show off. And you can have like so many things, like you were saying, when you chant for Krishna, Krishna says that as those surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So even with approaching Krishna, he'll reciprocate according to the sincerity of the approach.
Yeah.
How you sing, why you sing, what's the intention to please Krishna fully. Or it's like I asked this one devotee, he was my god brother, he did a lot of japa, and I was like, how to get a taste for chanting? He said, don't worry about it, you chant to try to please Krishna. And then so when you have that attitude, then Krishna's like, oh, then Krishna gives. He answered in a way that I was like, oh, he didn't answer, but he answered,
Yeah. That's ye yathama prapadyante, right? Krishna will reward you accordingly with whatever. He reciprocates. Kalachandji reciprocates so nicely. Hey Krishna.
Hi. Thank you very much for the amazing class. Do we have time for a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
I apologize because I know we're
No,
over
you're
time.
good. You're good. Go ahead.
So, someone coming from a perspective of not having a lot of the philosophical or the cultural background of Krishna consciousness, and not having having been immersed with deities or demigods or any of that, I might look to just have a relationship with Krishna. And is that considered, less advanced and moving towards understanding the roles of deities and demigods essential, or is it, is it okay to just, is that considered an offense to just try to have that relationship with Krishna directly?
Not at all. It's not offense. I think he skipped all the levels of a game and came to the level 9, where, the final level where we finally got introduced to Krishna and we didn't have to go through all the confusing paths. And I think this is really fortunate that you got introduced to Krishna directly. There's definitely so much past you had in your previous lives that give you this, in a game when we play, we have all the wealth. Now I'm able to unlock a level where I can come to the golden level. So this is probably that golden level where you got introduced to Krishna. And definitely you're not missing out on anything. Knowing about the demigods or having gone through that worship path or things like that. It's just that being in India, we were more exposed to all this. And sometimes that can be not a very helpful situation because people get stuck on their past, like my family worships Ganesha or any other demigod. But no, I think where you are is perfect. You're coming and serving Kalachanji every day, doing this wonderful service. So you're definitely at a very nice level, I think. Hare Krishna. Okay, we can wrap up now if there's no other question. Thank you so much for joining in. Let's all pray before we wrap up to Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji for their mercy and to Srila Prabhupada for always giving us the right intelligence and right mode of worship and right mode to practice devotional services. Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnav Bhakt Vrinda ki jai.